What is up, cinephiles? Welcome back to Screen Kings. Today's video, I'll be doing my late review for Matt Reeves The Batman. Now, I've already seen this movie last month, but I wasn't able to do a review because I was busy back then, and I figured that the last thing you need is just another glowing review saying how awesome and how different this Batman is compared to most comic book superhero films in terms of the approach. But I got some friends who are asking for my opinion, so you know what, since I love you guys and you support this channel, I'll give you my thoughts. Now, the first thing that you need to know is this is a standalone film. This is not part of the DCEU, so I find it refreshing that while watching this movie, I kept forgetting that this is a superhero film. I already sensed in the trailer that we're getting something different here, but going in, I'm still a bit hesitant. There's still a part of me that's hesitant because I don't know, Batman is just so adapted so many times that there's just not much left to squeeze in terms of reinvigorating the character. But Matt Reeves, he is just a genius. He does something different here again with the approach, a neo-noir detective, David Fincher-esque approach. So if you love movies like Zodiac and Seven, you're gonna dig the tone of this movie. Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne here is a broken, tortured soul that feels so much responsibility for the salvation of Gotham. It is quite a bit different from the portrayal of Ben Affleck when it comes to him being this charismatic billionaire playboy. In here, Robert Pattinson's character is more on the emo kid. He keeps his diary, and you know, I'm not even gonna be surprised if they play a My Chemical Romance song just because he looks like Gerard Way in some of the shots here. But yeah, I think they can pull it off because they are able to integrate the song Ave Maria in the film. What I also like about this version of Bruce Wayne is, apart from being emotionally vulnerable, he is also not as tough as you think compared to the other Bruce Waynes or Batman. There are some scenes here where Batman launches himself and missed the mark, and there are some scenes here where he needs to have an adrenaline booster shot to keep going during the fight. So he's not a perfect character, and it's mostly emphasized in this movie. And I like that vulnerability that I'm getting. And Robert Pattinson's performance is just shrouded with so much pain, because he inherited the generational sins from his father. So that is something to think about. Like, how long is he going to atone for those sins and move past beyond that and actually be able to contribute to the city of Gotham. Speaking of Gotham, it's just grimy and dirty inside and out, literally. I like the inspired choice that it's mostly taking place at night. I was watching the movie with my father, and he said that the movie started at the night and it ended at night. So it's definitely an inspired choice, you know, to highlight all the nasty things that's happening in Gotham, because everyone is just corrupt. There's a lot of morally ambiguous, gritty characters here. When it comes to the cinematography, of course, we have Greg Fraser, who just won his second Oscar for Dune. So we got a lot of screen-worthy shots here. I'm just gonna flash them on screen. All those shots of black, red, and gray. The shots of Batman stepping out of the shadows, because he's not lurking from the shadows. He is the shadow, as he would say. And pair that with Michael Giacchino's score, the musical score for Jurassic World. So he knows how to build the sequences, when to use soft music, when to use loud percussive music when it comes to the action beats. So on a technical level, this has a lot of fighting chance to be at the Oscars. Probably the con for this movie, though I'm not really counting this as a con, is the pacing. Because sometimes it is a 3-hour film, and I was never bored by the film, but I can tell that a casual viewer might find this too long. I caught my father dozing a couple of times and I had to wake him up. So yeah, I felt like the movie could have benefited with a more restraint and a tighter editing, perhaps. Just shave off those few minutes and we're all good. And I just wish that my cinema has subtitles, because there are some moments in the film that they were just really murmuring the lines and I can't really hear what the character is saying. But you know, that's in line with keeping in the vision of the film. Riddler here, Let's say he appears latter half of part of the movie. This is another compelling performance by Paul Dano, and I like how there is something unassuming but something malevolent in this performance. He is more of a force of nature here. He uses social media, so you can expect some backups coming from different parts of Gotham here. Not to say anymore, but he's some sort of a Joker when it comes to being diabolical. Not as diabolical as Joker, but when it comes to causing mass hysteria and uprising. He really is keen on cleaning the rot of the system, and that starts with the corrupt government officials. Now, I like how the Riddler here makes a point to Batman that we are not different after all. And that is true because they have the same goal, but they have different methodologies. Batman here is the proper justice way, but still using brute force, of course. Riddler here is more of the destructive, uprising path. So it really gets dangerous, and I like the turn here. I was more convinced than what happened in Joker, you know, without saying anything else more. But yeah, let's move on to Zoe Kravitz, who is fantastic in this role. Sells easily the chemistry between her and Robert Pattinson's Batman because they bond over their shared daddy issues. And then there's Serkis, who I'm always delighted to see whenever he plays a non-motion capture role, because I think he's a terrific actor and he gets his shot here. Also, Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon. I love this character. I'm definitely interested in the relationship here between Batman and him, because even if he doesn't know the true identity of Batman, there's a certain level of respect between them. So I'm curious to know what's the backstory going on here. I think there's something interesting to be mined here. And also Colin Farrell, who I keep forgetting is Colin Farrell. He's just unrecognizable with that look. There's this one particular chase scene which just go for broke, big blockbuster shot. When those moments happened, I was reminded that, oh, I'm watching a superhero film, because it feels so grounded and intimate that when we get those blockbuster shots, money shots, which most of the people paid for to see, I was reminded that this is a superhero film. But when it comes to the action here, I would say I like the parts where Batman is going hand-to-hand combat, especially when he's fighting a bunch of goons in a dark hallway and we get only see flashes of light. I think that's my favorite part of the movie. And yeah, overall, how would I rank this in the Batman films that are already out there? I just felt like Nolan's films have already cemented as the classic in my part, but even Matt Reeves has really justified the existence of this movie, that it doesn't feel like a cash grab. It really is a worthy retelling of the Batman story. I think over time, if I'm going to rewatch this movie, it's going to rank higher. I wouldn't really be surprised if that's the case, but for now, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5, which is already telling how rewatchable this movie is. Just make sure to get your bathroom breaks. But yeah, I mean, the approach that they have here, it's almost opposite to what Marvel is doing, because Marvel is just broadening his horizons when it comes to the introduction of multiverses, the time travel aspect. But in here, it remains grounded and more intimate and really just focused on Gotham, and I like it. I think it's a welcome antidote to the superhero films. It still delivers the spectacle, but not in a cookie cutter way when it comes to the plotting. You guys remember what Martin Scorsese said a few years ago about superhero films being more like theme parks and they're not really true cinema? Well, I hope he watched this movie, because this is an ammunition against his argument. So yeah, let me know what you think about the Batman. I'm sure you guys have already seen that. Hit them on the comment sections down below, and also if you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like and subscribe to me for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. Thank you so much guys for watching. Until then, I'll see you all on the next one.